Today, I am hopefully going to show you some tips and tricks that you can incorporate into your makeup routine to really help you not just elevate your makeup look, but to feel confident in your skin that you can go out and be that person that you were created to be. Okay, so for the first step in really getting that flawless makeup look is thinking about your skincare underneath. I always tell my clients that your makeup look is only going to look as good as your skincare. If you haven't started an anti-aging regimen yet, I highly recommend looking into doing so. It is never too late to start, and honestly, the earlier the better. And one thing, if you find yourself really struggling with your makeup application, it really could be that you need to exfoliate your skin, and that should happen about once or twice a week. Okay, so I am going to start off this makeup look with using an illuminator, and this might be something that you don't put into your makeup routine yet, but I promise you once you start, you will love it. This is an all-natural one, and I love the champagne. I do one pump, and I just love to put this underneath my makeup. It is going to give you that healthy glow from within. Okay, now I'm going to go into foundation. There are so many foundations out there on the market. I think the most important thing is to find one that works for your skin, that is not going to change color on you and oxidize once you have it on for an hour, and also one that is just going to hold up and stay on throughout the day. You also want to think about how you're applying it. I love using a blenderful, and I have mine a little bit damp. You don't want this too wet, but you can also use a brush. You just want to make sure that you go up on your ear and you also come down on your neck. And probably one of the biggest mistakes that we've all made, and we definitely see other people making, is having that line on their jaw that doesn't match their neck. So you want to make sure that you are using the right shade. Do you see how I'm getting that glow? And that is from those glow drops underneath my foundation. And I just love to press this into my skin. Okay, my next tip is about concealer. And I actually do my concealer right now on my eyelid and under my eye. And then at the end of this makeup tutorial, I'm going to show you using a brightener concealer as well. But it's so important to cancel out the redness and the discoloration that we have in our eyelids. And what that does is just really lets whatever eyeshadow color you put on really show through to its true color. Then I like to come down, and I like to use my finger for this. You can definitely use a brush if you're more comfortable with that as well. But with the makeup that I'm using, it really helps to warm it up with your skin. And I'm going to press that underneath my eye, and I like to go to the top of my cheek here. What happens a lot when we use concealer is we keep it right underneath here on the eye, and that's what gives us that raccoon look. But can you see the difference there, how it really brightens up your eye? So if you didn't get a lot of sleep last night, maybe your kids were up, whatever the case is, you can put some concealer on and make it look like you are wide awake. Next, you want to go in with a translucent powder and set that concealer that you just put on. This is really going to help it from creasing during the day. All right, next I'm going to go into my colored pressed powder. And this is a powder that matches the same color as my skin. Now, if you're somebody who gets very dry, you may want to skip this step. All right, and then next, one of my favorite tricks to do is contouring. And I know sometimes that can sound a little bit intimidating, or maybe you think, oh, that's not for me. But if I could tell you that it takes about 5 pounds off of your face, then you might want to try it. And it really is simple. You don't have to be super extravagant with this. Or follow all the rules that you see on social media. Basically, what you want to think about is starting in your hairline and going underneath your cheekbone. You're going to place most of your product up here, right by that hairline, and bring it down. I am using a darker colored pressed powder, but you could also use a bronzer for this. And what you're doing is creating a shadow so it slims your face out. And if you feel like you went in and the edge was too harsh, just go in there and blend it right out. And then I like to go up in my hairline here on my forehead. It's almost like you're making a backwards 3. But you do want to be mindful of your face shape. So I have a decent sized forehead. If you have a smaller forehead, you can still do it up here, just don't do as much. And then if yours happens to be larger, you can do it a little bit more. And I think the biggest thing with this, and really with the whole makeup look, is just practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to feel with it. I also like to take a little bit of my contour and put it underneath my lip here. This gives you that fuller lip look. And then another thing you can contour is your nose. Now, if you feel like you have a wider nose and you want it to look longer and thinner, then you would just go down the sides of your nose right here. I typically don't do that because I already have a longer nose and I don't want to make it look even longer. So what I like to do is contour just right here, and it gives you like a little bit more of a button nose, and it just makes your nose look a little bit shorter. Okay, let's talk about eyebrows. So you can see with me, my brows are pretty much non-existent. I have a little bit, but I definitely am a victim of the 90s and have overplucked my brows. So if this is the case with you, do not worry. There are so many different options out there for doing your brows, and you can really make them look natural. But I feel like your brows is one of the biggest things that can really make a big impact. I know there are so many people who are afraid to do them because honestly, the first time you do your brows, and if you're new to it, it does take some getting used to. But I promise you, when you look at them, that's kind of all you see at first, but other people do not think that. They really do frame your face. They help make you look younger, and they lift everything up. Really big difference. One step that I always do with my brows after I have filled them in, I go in with a little bit of concealer on my brush, and I just take that and go along the edge. It really helps clean that line up, and it gives you a nice highlight there. One thing that I think can really elevate your makeup look, and especially on camera, is a good eyeshadow look. One thing that I love to do is find a really nice neutral palette that I know is going to go with everything. And once you get this down, you will not regret it. So for me, first I'm going to take a really light shade and go all over my lid. And I am going from my lash line up to right underneath my brow. Okay, I think this is the most important step. When you are going in with your transition shade, which your transition shade is right here in your crease, this is where we make the mistake of not putting our eyeshadow on high enough. So many of us, and I was guilty of this before too, we put our eyeshadow on with our eyes closed, and then we open up our eye and you cannot see it. So you want to pick a shade to go in your crease that is just 2 or 3 shades lighter than your natural coloring. And when you do that, so I'm going in with this brown right here, and I'm going to place the majority of my product right in this outer corner here, and then I'm going to go back and forth. And if you notice, I'm keeping my eyes open and looking straight. And once you get the position, then you can close your eye if you want to. You're just gonna do little circles and go back and forth until you are happy with it. Okay, and like I said, if this is all you want to do, you can go straight to your mascara and liner. I like to add dimension to my look, so I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, I talked about going in with concealer at the end of this eye look, and I feel like this is another step in your makeup game that you can do that really makes a big difference, and it's so easy. So I am going in with a really bright concealer, again, just taking it on my finger, and I'm going to pat it in my lid right here, like halfway over and into the center. And then you also want to take that and push it towards your nose there. Look how that just brightens everything up. I love that. And now I'm just going to go on top of that with a gold shimmer, again, using a tool that you always have on you, your finger, and patting that in. Now it's time for mascara. This is a very important step for your eyelashes to really show up. Mine are fairly small, so when I curl my lashes, it really makes a big difference. Just make sure you are curling them before you put your mascara on. That way you don't have to worry about breaking any of your lashes. Do you warm your mascara up? If you warm your mascara up, it really is going to help it go on a lot more smoothly. I know a lot of times eyeliner can be a little bit scary. I am going to put a liquid liner on my top lid, but if you find yourself having a hard time getting a straight line, or you are somebody that doesn't have a large lid space, one thing that you can do is tight line. So you want to take a black or brown pencil, and preferably waterproof, because if you're going underneath your eye here, which is what tight lining is, you're going to want to make sure that it's waterproof. And what I am doing is going between each lash and making a line. And what this does is give you a beautiful thicker lash line without having to draw that line on top. And when you first start out doing this, if you need to pull your eye back to really get in there and get used to it, just make sure you do that lightly. Okay. I am going to go with a liquid liner pen, and same thing, just try to get as close to your lash line as possible. For my lower lash line, I like to take a little bit of that crease color that I used, the brown, and go underneath. And then you can stop at that step, or if you like, I'm going to take a little bit of our black gel liner and just do the outside corner. For myself, I don't like to take that all the way in because I feel like it really closes off the eye. And probably my favorite tip of all is to go back in with my concealer brush. And now I'm going to go in my waterline underneath. And what this does, you could do this with eyeliner too, but when you use that neutral color, can you see the difference? It really makes your eye pop and makes it look bigger. All right, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of blush. And for the blush, basically you're going on the apple of your cheek and coming up a little bit. And I'm going on top of that bronzer. Next, you want to find a lip color that you love. I always go in with the lip liner first. If you are someone that has trouble with your lip color bleeding, then a lip liner might really help you. It also will help make your lips a little bit fuller looking, especially if you're using more of a nude color. All right, I think the last way to really elevate your makeup look is to add false lashes. Now, I know that's not for everyone, and it didn't used to be for me, but it's something that I've really played around with and tried several times now, and I absolutely love it. And if you are getting pictures taken, if you are on camera, having some fake lashes on really does make a big difference. So I encourage you to try it out and see if it's something that you like. I'm going to do that off camera and then show you the end result. Okay, so here is my finished look. You can tell that the eyelashes really do just elevate the look. And I actually started doing these flutter lashes, which are so much easier, and I feel like they are more comfortable and they stay on longer. So I hope you guys have taken away, if not several tips and tricks, just one or two that you can incorporate into your routine. I would love to talk with you further if you need help picking out what colors best suit you.
Thank you so much for watching this tutorial.